Brooks, it's CM Punk. How many times do I have to repeat this to you? I'm sick and tired. What the hell's that?
I don't know.
I think somebody's at the door. Hey.
You can't even film stuff without people knocking.
Well, you know, that's the way of the world. Who is it?
But don't start personally insulting me.
Huh?
But don't start personally insulting me.
Hannibal! Oh, no! Not that way! There it is!
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen here only from Indie Music TV, straight out of Ronkonkoma, New York. And at the board, as always, the super producer, Matthew Ice. Matty, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Now that he found the
Did you
microphone.
enjoy the kind weather we had here in the Northeast in New York yesterday? Were you out running around, doing a little rollerblading? What were you doing with yourself?
Rollerblading?
I was home playing the game.
You were home inside
with
playing.
a couple of my cousins. Yeah.
You were home inside playing video games when it was 68 degrees out, record-setting warmth.
Well, I was inside working when it was nice and sunny outside. So.
Okay, all right. This
After
is what
that,
youth. This is what youth is doing with
beer and
68
pretzels.
degrees.
This is true.
This is terrible, Matt. Go outside. Do something outside. I was always told to go outside and not stay. Wait a minute. I was always told to not stay in the
And
house.
that's the start of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
You're looking red. That's a nice looking shirt you got on there.
Yeah, somebody just said it's my Putin shirt. I'm like, hey, I don't know if I feel too comfortable with
But
that.
before we get to that, last week, as we were introducing the new show with Cairo and the Virgin Princess, she dropped some pipe bombs. What were you thinking on that whole deal? Did you give it any thought?
What are you doing, man? I was actually jovial for a second there. You had to pull me away from that.
I had to.
What do I think about
Yes,
it? Well,
I did.
if what she says is the truth, we got ourselves some serious issues with Have a Nice Day, don't we?
Well, it matters if you think it's true or not, right? I mean, to be fair, you don't know if it's true
I
or
don't
not.
know if it's true or not.
But it is a little disturbing that that
Yeah.
would even be brought up in one way or another.
Yeah. That's a dark rain cloud.
Want to
Absolutely.
give a couple of shout-outs. PJ, how are you? John, good to see you. Maria, Phil, great to see you. Matthew, thanks for joining. Jason, welcome from Phoenix. Beautiful Phoenix.
Ooh.
Rob B in the house. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Who else we got here? Did I miss anybody? Daniel, I hate Hannibal. Understood that.
Hello, Daniel.
Rob B, 70 North Carolina. Loved it. Nothing like warm weather.
What's that? With the snow.
Well, what do you got?
We have snow.
You wanted to say something to a fan out there that you read a comment?
Wow. Well, oh boy. You're making this very unjovial for me. But necessary. Listen, somebody wrote in. What was? Do I have the name? What was it, Mr. X?
I think
was it along those lines? Somebody wrote in, and I know I'm not directly on social media, but I read this note, and they were begging me to not, smoke cigarettes. They had lost a parent recently. I wanted to say thank you for giving a crap. It's real. This is really hard for me, but I appreciate everything everybody does to support the show, and I was actually floored that somebody would take the time to ask me not to smoke because you're loved and we don't want to see you go soon. This is the kind of stuff my own family wouldn't tell me, to be very honest.
Right.
To get a little personal here, I don't even come from anything like that, so it was very, very humbling. I can't promise that I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes. I have ACD, and that's an addictive compulsive disorder. Basically, I I'm self-diagnosing myself, by
Sure.
the way. I'm
Fair.
not trying to be a smartass about this. There's certain things that for some reason I have always reached for, especially since I was a teenager. And unfortunately, cigarettes seem to be that one of those things. But I will say this much, and I don't know what this is worth. I'm not going to be putting cigarettes on this table from this point on.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Very interesting.
Out of respect for the fact that somebody cared enough to care more than the. Obviously, I don't seem to care enough about myself. So
Well,
I'm
that's
trying to be honest here.
I think
so.
that's-
Thank you very much, and I'll see what I can do behind the scenes to maybe not smoke so much.
I think that's kind of respectful, my friend.
You know?
I think that's a really great
And
idea.
we're sorry for your loss too. I'm sure. I think you said that on the message.
All right. Well, before we get to some news, I want to say I spoke to Marty Jannetty today, this morning.
That's good. That's
Marty
good.
told me he was in the hospital for 6 weeks. So, Maria, thank you for keeping us updated with Marty. And hopefully Marty's doing better. He did tell me what was actually going on with him. I don't really feel comfortable in sharing that right
Understood,
now.
understood.
It really doesn't matter. It's just
Right.
that he's trying to recover. And I don't foresee him traveling for a substantial amount of time.
Okay.
This is my opinion and only my opinion.
Right. Right.
I'm just hoping the best for him, and if there's anything we could do for him,
Right.
we said we're here for you, brother.
Reach out, Marty, please.
White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates slammed former President Donald Trump for praising Russian President Vladimir Putin in days before Putin launched an invasion on Ukraine. He wrote, "Two nauseating, fearful pigs who hate what America stands for and whose every action is driven by their own weakness and insecurity, rubbing their snouts together and celebrating as innocent people lose their life," Bates tweeted from his official government account Thursday morning. Pharaoh?
Wow. Interesting. This is the deputy press secretary saying these things?
That is correct.
That's interesting. Well, let's see. Let's see what I can find here as I read this nonsense. Weakness and insecurity. Weakness. I don't think of the word weakness when I think of a guy like Putin.
Okay.
All right, first of all. I actually don't think of... I could think of a lot of things to describe Donald Trump, but I'm President Donald Trump, as you like to call him, and I agree with that. I don't think weakness is actually a word that probably stands for him either. Insecurity? Maybe. I don't know them personally. They might be insecure about
every
this, that,
human
or the other
being's
thing.
insecure in one way or the other, no matter how
pretty
much money you have,
I
no
do
matter
know
how
this
much
much,
you're-
though. I want to know, in the history of our country, since when is a deputy press secretary allowed to run his mouth about an ex-president this way? What the hell did he call him? Nauseating, fearful pig. What if somebody had said that about Obama, or George Bush Jr., or Ronald Reagan, or Bill? Where the fuck is the respect in this country nowadays? I'm asking you. Help me out.
Where is it?
Where the fuck does this guy get allowed to say
He's in a
this?
leadership position, right?
Yeah, that's his leadership position?
There you go.
That's what he's got to say?
Hence why what's happening to this country right now.
Putin is doing what Putin wants to do because nobody's going to stand up to him. Okay? It's really simple. And for all you delusional people, and by the way, once again, I'm going to have to say it, I can't stand politicians. I'm not on either side. But when you got a president who another country might be a little fearful of, and know that if you fuck with them, you're going to get fucked with back, you probably don't pull this, do you? Right? You probably don't pull this, do you? You know?
Yeah.
So obviously, Putin feels very comfortable with America right now that he can go and do this. Gee, I wonder fucking why.
PJ says Putin took over Crimea. I don't know if it's Crimea.
Yeah, okay.
Under Obama, did nothing under Trump, and is finishing what started under Biden.
Right.
Talk about weak. It wasn't Trump.
In this particular military observation, correct. And he's making a military observation, by the way. You know, you want to cloud it about it's a military observation. Correct. You know. Oh, and look.
And
by
Phil
the way,
and Phil says
we are one step away. China aligning with Russia. Guess what, folks? Is this what we were all rooting for? Because America is obviously more. You know what got passed today? I heard something got passed today that you can't use the word gay in Florida because we got our priorities set right now. We know what we're doing.
And by the way, Phil says he'd rather hear from Deputy Dog.
Thank you, Phil. Is that the Phil?
Here's one thing.
Is that our
Here's
Phil?
one thing.
Is that the Cesare?
Monty will drop a little wisdom.
Yeah.
You can't drink. You can't take down the American economy.
Right.
Because if you do, you're just taking down the entire
You're
planet.
taking down everything.
So unless
Right.
you're a total warmonger, it's you know.
So what do you think the end game is, Mr. Mike? What's the end game? You served. You know the unfortunate
I don't know what the end game
realities
is,
of-
bro. I got to be
What
honest
is the
with you.
end game
I don't know.
here?
I don't know what's going on in me. I'm lost.
China and
More
Russia.
importantly,
there's no.
there's much more important things.
Eventually,
going
they'll
on.
turn on each other anyway.
There's much more important
Yeah.
things going on. Greg R. wants to know if I'm growing my beard out in honor of Dutchman Mantel. I was thinking
Wait a
about it,
minute.
man, but I think
Wait
I'm
a
going to shave
minute.
before next
You know,
weekend.
you got some nerve. You bring this up, you get me crazy, and then you bring up that he wants to know about your beard looking like Dutch Mantel.
Got to keep the important things in line, right?
You know, you're right. We do have our priorities.
if you want my honest opinion, of what's
God
going
bless
on?
America.
I would say this is we're all in trouble.
Yeah, I think
How's
we
that?
are. I tend to agree.
If the gas prices weren't enough, if the food prices weren't enough.
Right.
See, again, for older people like
Right,
us, we
right.
probably won't see it, maybe.
Right.
But soon there'll be world famine. Not just
Oh, boy.
not just famine. There'll be world famine.
Right.
And
It's rough, man.
You know,
God, let's hope
I don't know
not.
if you remember
Let's
when you
hope
were
not.
in high school or junior high and you'd
Yeah.
read all the books about the cheese lines and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be back. We'll be back on a cheese line. Be back on a cheese line.
But I have one question. Is Red Dawn coming?
Could be.
Remember that movie?
Yeah,
Red
definitely.
Dawn?
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. Yo, this is getting really wackadoo, bro. I don't know.
All right, let's bring it into
I don't
wrestling.
know. Yeah, please.
Let's keep
bring
you
it in.
on fire.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Dax Hardwood recalls Shawn Michaels.
Hardwood? Boy, there's a joke in there.
Harwood.
Harwood. Go ahead.
Recalls Shawn Michaels making fun of him at Raw 25 after he thought they had a bonding
Mr.
moment.
Christian? Shawn
Speaking
Michaels?
to Renee on the sessions, right? We know Renee.
Yes.
right?
The oral sessions.
Oral
Get it
sessions,
straight.
right.
Boy, I'm really twisted today.
Dax
Go ahead.
went into detail about how he poured his heart out to HBK and had it thrown back in his face.
Oh,
As a kid, I chose Brett over Shawn. Then NXT, Shawn came aboard, and he was a teacher. He was a big fan of me and Cash.
Yeah.
We got injured. Cash broke his jaw, and when Kenta gave him a go-to sleep, maybe 2 weeks later, I gave Sheamus a lifter and tore my bicep. I went through a real bad phase where, man, this is just not going to work out for us. This is a run of bad luck. We came back to TV on Raw 25 where we were booked to do a deal with Hunter and his friends, and they would beat us up. I was upset. I was upset for a lot of guys. I was upset for a lot of guys. Oh, it's just a paycheck, but who cares? But not me. There's a legacy I wanted to leave. That happened, and I talked to Shawn, and then the first time we talked since the PC days, Performance Center, I told him this happened. I tore my bicep and went through a really dark period and thought I was going to quit. Thankfully, I have the greatest wife in the world, and she supported me and brought me out of this in a funk and out of a dark place. He said, I was the same way. I was in a very dark spot and my wife, she's beautiful and pulled me out of the dark spot too. That's so awesome. You and your partner are on the way, too talented. You know, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
he was,
blah, blah. You're
he
so
was
talented.
supporting them. Right.
So, unfortunately, the moment was short-lived as Dax and Michaels, when they got in front of the friends, X-Pac, Hunter, Billy, Road Dogg, and Scott,
Oh, boy.
as soon as he got in front of the friends, he started making fun of me and my situation and what happened with my bicep.
We got two words
Man,
for
I
you.
just poured my heart out to you, and as soon as you get in
This
front of your
guy.
friends, we're going over them and beating the shit out of you. You decide to talk all this stuff and make about me. And
Click.
So anyway, he certainly
Click
was
live.
affected by Mr. Michaels.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say I was never a fan of Dax.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now
Right.
I am a fan.
Really?
Yes.
Really? You going to get a Revival t-shirt? Oh, they don't call
No,
themselves
I'm
that
not going to get
anymore.
a Revival T-shirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised by this. And by the way, this is not that long ago. I thought he's Mr. Christian and has been for like decades now. What's going on here? This behavior sounds just like the 1990s. Doesn't it, from Shawn?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I thought that he's converted. What did he convert to?
But what are your thoughts about
so
that?
confused.
A guy's you're Christian.
Yeah.
A guy gives his heart out to you,
yeah,
and then you
yeah.
get in front of your boys and you just turn back to the same old asshole you were before.
Right. Well, it means you're fully shit. I mean, that's what it means. That's pretty much it. That's a lousy way to treat somebody, but we're not that surprised, are we?
I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because you expect people to change,
No,
and
people
I
don't.
expected Shawn to change, and it just proves to me he's the same guy who took drugs, got in a fight with military guy, got his asses kicked, took Chris Candido's girlfriend and screwed her in the closet while this guy was running around looking for her, took a whole bunch of drugs, jealous as you know what?
Hell of a wrestler.
That's a great comment. Hell of a wrestler.
I had to. Boy, was that laced in his.
Is that forgiven?
Nah, you think I give it? I really don't give a shit what the Shawn Michaels does to Dax Harwood, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I honestly don't give a crap. You know why? Because they probably don't care what the hell so-and-so does to me. Fuck them.
That's a good point.
You know?
I mean, if you're going to carry it like that, that's
'em.
an old
I don't
adage,
give a
right?
Fuck.
It doesn't matter.
And apparently, the resurrection of Shawn Michaels is not so resurrected.
Greg R goes, is FTR really as good as they think they are? I don't get them or the Young Bucks.
Well, the simple thing is that the Young Bucks are today's version of the Hardy Boys. And the Revival, or whatever you want to call them nowadays, is just your old NWA Southern Approach tag team. The end. That's what they are.
Wow.
Right? I mean, seriously, what are the Young Bucks? They're today's Hardy Boys.
You're in a bad place.
What they fucking do?
You're in a bad place.
If you're not original, you should be called out on it. Like, for example, I'm a Curly ripoff. Yeah. Why not?
Well, if you didn't know it, that's the Star Show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, along with his partner, Bart Griggs, make up the band with Stereo Hall. Stereo Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain, and the theme song for the Monte The Pharaoh Show, Riding High. Little quiz.
Yeah. Is this about Artie Lang? I don't know anything
What
about
is the Wisteria Hall theme song? What is the Tony Atlas theme song?
The Tony Atlas theme
That
song.
he do Tuesdays with Tony Atlas.
It's Finest Hour.
Beautiful.
If I don't know my own song.
What is the In the Dungeon with Kevin Sullivan and Andrew Anderson?
You changed it.
Oh.
You changed it. It was originally Sinners Never Sacrificed, and now I think it's Not Far Behind, which is all jovial and shit.
It is Not Far Behind.
But they're in the dungeon. The guy's a Satan thing. I had Sinners Never Sacrificed.
Hey, guys, please reach out to the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Give them a like and subscribe. Catch them on Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation. And if you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Catch us on YouTube, the Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh Twitch TV page, and also on Channel 115 in New York every Tuesday at 9:30 and 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, where 83,000 people watch weekly. And on Tuesday, 1 a.m.
Yeah,
Not
for
bad.
me. Yeah.
We want to thank Amazon for bringing on the Monte The Pharaoh Show, and we want to thank all the fans out there that support us. Your support just makes our Thursday so much better.
Absolutely.
And we're glad that we can maybe bring some
by the way,
laughter.
I don't want this to be lost in all of this with the political talk we had before. No matter what we may feel about the president, and I'm not speaking for you, but I'm wondering if you agree. No matter what we do, this is our country. You back the president.
Agreed.
You know? So the end of that, before anybody thinks that I feel so strongly one way or the other. Again, it's a leader of our
the
country.
people have spoken,
All
and
I
it's the
can
leader
hope
of the
is that
country.
he does the right thing and gets us through this. That's all. Real simple. You know?
I hope he does too, my
Yeah,
friend.
but I, for some reason, see Putin in China going, "Hey, I got a really good idea. What do you think about this?" And I'm going, "Oh,
Again,
boy.
I don't
This
see-
is like Hogan
I
and
don't-
Macho Man or some crap."
I
We
don't
don't
see-
need this pairing right now.
China and the U.S. are in something called a very bad marriage, right?
Right.
Something you want to get out of, but you just can't because
Right.
you're just so in bed together.
Right.
So sooner or later, China, if they are backing the Soviet Union, they will pull their funds away if the U.S. demands that to happen, right?
Right.
Because in the
Right.
end,
You think
we all
so? I
know
hope you're right. I hope
there's
you're
black,
right that-
white, but the real thing that always
Is
rules
green.
is green.
Yeah, I
That's
hope
for
you're
sure.
right at the end of the day with that dynamic. Oh boy.
All right, we'll be right back with. Wait a minute.
What?
Maybe if I got my shit straight, it'd be good.
Holy
Go
screw.
hard or go home show before next week's hot stuff. Be right back.
Go hard, folks. See you in a second. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack. And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB. Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering,
and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest Graphic Design.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV. Daniel Stokes says out there, Hannibal for president.
He's Canadian. How can he be president?
If you get a visa,
Yeah. Can you
can you run for president? I don't think so.
Who knows at this point?
Man, we got a lot of wrestling news, dude. So
Hit it.
Cesaro contract
Cesaro?
is run out. He's no longer with the WWE. They could not come to terms.
Wow.
PW Insider says Cesaro has quietly left the WWE as the two sides are unable to come to terms with their new contract.
Guess who's going to have a new surprise next week on AEW? Because every week we've got a surprise. Cesaro's going to AEW. You're going to have 800 wrestlers in AEW, all mid-carders who never were going to be main eventers anyway. But what a wrestling clinic they are going to put on. Bankrupt.
Wow.
What do you want? I mean, Cesaro was a great wrestler, but let's face it, he was only going to go so far.
Vanilla.
And don't give me this.
Vanilla at best.
And don't give me this bullshit from the internet crazy, indie lovers and AEW lovers that Cesaro's going to come there and win the world title. Shut up. He's not.
Is the WWE making a mistake,
God.
though, not keeping some of these lower level talent around?
They are.
Like who?
They're keeping around the worthwhile guys who are even former champions, guys like Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is still...
So use them more.
Yeah.
But don't you need some new blood?
You just re-signed AJ. AJ is a workhorse.
So AJ is going to become the new Jeff Hardy.
You maybe a little bit, not fully. AJ Styles' legacy, believe it or not, in my opinion, as an individual main event booked champion, Jeff Hardy can't touch him. That's my opinion. AJ Styles is greater than Jeff Hardy. Yes, I've said it. Way greater.
I agree.
Way greater, by the way.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to put you on the spot, bro.
Yeah, hit it.
I want to be
Wait a minute,
careful.
I've been on the spot since
Nah,
the show started.
I want to be careful with this one, okay? Because
Can't
this hit home for everybody out there. For me, I was watching AEW, which I rarely do. Greg R says AEW is turning into WCW
I agree.
light, bankrupt in a year.
Completely agree they're heading in that direction.
Lou says never saw money in Cesaro, good worker, but not a main event.
Absolutely,
Totally agree.
1,000% agree.
Lou,
Great comment.
my one question is, do you need to keep those guys around because you got to beat up on somebody?
Depends on who you're keeping around. Again, Dolph Ziggler, who still wrestles like a young man, has a good look, a good flair, entertaining as shit. Just a great hand. Dolph Ziggler stays.
Let's get to the subject on hand. So I was thinking about bringing like a little segment to do like maybe once every 3 shows or whatever else, like we do head to head. Just have a couple of segments that we do. And I was
getting nervous.
No, I was going to kind of do something like inside the thoughts of Jimmy Farrow, get to know Jimmy Farrow type of thing, because I think it's important that we're doing this for a little bit.
I'm still
and
getting
maybe
to know
people should know
Jimmy
you more.
Farrow.
No, I understand.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm watching AEW. Now, again, guys, I watch Married at First Sight, and I kind of click in and out of AEW. But MJF caught my eye.
Yeah. Because he's good like
He got
that.
emotional.
He's good like
He was
that.
brought to tears during a promo.
Yes,
MJF's emotions got
saw
the better
this.
of him during a promo on the latest episode of AEW Dynamite. Seemingly breaking character, MJF spoke about his love for wrestling and AEW and said that meeting CM Punk as a fan was a life-changing experience
As
for
a
him.
kid, when he met him, yes.
MJF added, when Punk walked away out of the WWE in 2014, he left fans when they most needed him, and he promised to he promised the wrestling fans that he was someone to look up to. So I'm going to add to this, okay? So the one thing AEW has the advantage of doing is they can go a little risque compared to the WWE, right? The WWE
Because
knows
of
their boundaries.
sponsorships,
yeah, absolutely,
et cetera,
which is understandable.
contractual obligations
But
to sponsors.
I got a few things. So the interesting part, he spoke about being Jewish, and he gets, he's on a microphone. He's like, you got any Jews in the house, right? He
I
does
saw
a
it.
little, right? Yep.
I saw it.
He then speaks about making friends with his football team,
Right.
which he felt like, finally...
In high school.
In high school. And they come over to him and holding a roll of quarters, they throw the quarters at him, and then they say to MJF, pick it up, Jew boy, pick it up.
Right. That's
Okay?
the story he told.
Now, again,
right.
to me, I was like, whoa.
Right. Okay.
Again, very descriptive.
Right. He
very,
was
very descriptive.
He was. Understood.
He also went on how CM Punk meant everything to him. And, I know we opened up about Dax, okay?
Yeah.
But I wanted you to discuss what that promo meant to you, because I felt like I was watching a part of Jimmy Pharaoh's life.
The way he described his high school years.
So please, take as long as you want.
That's interesting.
And I would like to hear your thoughts on this promo.
Yeah.
And what it meant to you when you saw it.
Well, you did mention this to me before we got on the air, and you started to trigger some of my memories that honestly, when I saw the promo, I didn't think about it, but I guess you, as usual, you got me to think about something a little bit more. I can only say this much. MJF is from Long Island just like we are. And I sometimes wonder what kind of image Long Island gives off to people who don't live on Long Island, that we're somehow all spoiled, or we've got beachfront property, or we got this and that. But the way MJF explained things was kind of a little bit haunting, because he took a lot of shit for the Jewish stuff. Now, I will not say that that's what happened to me, but there is a memory I do have during the 1980s, and it is a little personal. Now, I'm adopted, so I was raised in a Jewish family, and a brick came through our front window, and we lived in a very nice neighborhood. East Northport is a beautiful hometown, to grow up in. It was gorgeous. But we had a brick come through our window one time, and my father picked it up, and right away, he knew that it was because we were Jewish, and it was a little thing on the brick. So, a very real promo. MJF was definitely only partially sticking to his role, if you know what I'm saying. So he was bleeding all over the place about something that actually did mean something to him. I actually can believe that, look, we both loved our favorite wrestlers when we were teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Boy, did we love those guys. We looked at them as larger than life, and they could actually affect us, as silly as it sounds, but I'm sure people have a favorite actor or a favorite whoever that they look up to, and when they do something right or wrong, it hurts them or it excites them. There's nothing wrong with that. John Lennon is a great example for me, When he said that when Punk left, it devastated him. Look, we just watched a guy cry when Punk returned. So we do know that this exists.
Right.
This emotional connection to a pro wrestler or a pro athlete or whoever, a celebrity, it exists. So that was what was so great about it, and that he was so convincing. And by the way, being able to cry down just one eye, remember when he said he was practicing in the mirror? Did he practice that? Because man, oh man, how do you do that on command? So that was all fantastic. Just an A+. But here's what really bothered me, and I know it bothered you, so I'm going to roll into hopefully what you'll, rebound off of. CM Punk comes out after all of this, and right away, as great as CM Punk has been in the past, and as great as CM Punk still is, to some degree, boy, oh boy, he comes out like strutting like a fight. You know what I mean? Right. And it didn't seem genuine, like right off the bat. And then he goes, is this true? Is this true? And I'm going to myself, wow, MJF is now CM Punk. CM Punk is now not even on that level. That's how good MJF was. That was my take on it. Stay in the back, like you said. Let MJF finish the promo. And then let it build till next week.
Yeah,
what was with that?
I did not get that.
Kind of, to me, Punk didn't. The greatness wasn't right there with what MJF had just done. If you understand what I'm saying.
Sure.
I didn't feel it. Even the way he got in the ring and he's clenching one fist. I'm like, dude, stop.
He took the air,
at least let it build a week.
Took the air out of the promo.
To me, he did. But you know what saved it? Of course, what saved it was MJF's reaction and leaving the ring and, just giving him the look. MJF at least attempted to save it. And it was savable because in the end, it's MJF's promo itself that's going to be talked about for probably a pretty long time.
I want to keep this conversation. I just want to read some comments. Gregor says, Miz and MJF could be the next Tully and Gino Hernandez. Thoughts on that?
Whoa, that's interesting. Wow. Could you see them together? Wow. I know they get compared to each other a lot, but I don't. This is going to sound rough. As accomplished as The Miz is, I believe so much in MJF's real talent that The Miz is not MJF, man.
Miz is too Miz is too cartoony to me.
Correct.
Where MJF is more towards the Piper
Right.
end,
I mean,
in my opinion.
Have you seen the video? I think it's on YouTube. Anybody can look it up. Where MJF meets an 11-year-old girl. Did you see that exchange?
No, I did not.
He's at a signing, bro. Just like all the signings we've seen, right?
Right.
And this 11-year-old girl comes up, and she's like, she can't wait to like screw with him because they're filming it. Her father's filming it. So she starts to say something to him, and he turns and he goes, how old are you? And she says 11. He goes, 11 years old. 11 years ago, your father made a very bad mistake. I'm going to myself, oh my God.
He's quick.
And then when she comes around the table, he puts his finger up. They all have their middle finger up for the picture. I'm like, that's a heel. This guy knows what he's doing.
So
it's like
couple
he's
more
living
things.
it.
Rob B says it sounded like an after school special. Phil writes, remember the crying Indian Native American commercial? Yes.
Wow. That was a great commercial. Was that guy an Indian? I heard he was Italian. Is that true?
He was Italian.
Oh.
That's Lisa Soprano
Holy
said that.
Chief J. Strongbow. Oh, yeah.
Lou says, great promo. MJF really got some depth.
I thought he was
did.
excellent. I thought he was excellent.
Okay, so here's the
He's
problem.
great.
Again,
He's great.
I want to evaluate this again. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure where he was going with this. Like, are you telling a story being picked on, but then you made it anti-Semitic, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe this was true.
Right.
It could be a true story.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think
Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Yeah, probably.
But
he probably took
again,
some, he
I
probably
think
took some shit when he was a
if you're
teenager.
looking,
I can see
if
that.
you're looking to step up in your character,
Yeah.
he's okay.
His realism.
I gotta go
His
back.
realism is what sells his.
But I gotta go
heelishness.
back to the Miz.
So
Though.
this was fine.
Unfair
for
to
him.
Miz because I said the Miz was cartoony.
Of course he's cartoony.
But I gotta
that's
understand
what he's
this.
given.
He's in constraints.
Right.
The Miz doesn't
That's
have
what he's given.
free. Could you imagine maybe the Miz?
I don't have to. The time that the Miz flipped out on Daniel Bryan on the post show.
There you go.
That was fantastic. So Miz can do it, but it's not what he's given.
So that's true. So again,
that was great.
My
Oh
point
my
is,
God.
I thought he really captivated me with that.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
I felt CM Punk totally destroyed that.
I'm not as extreme about it as you are, but I do agree that it was definitely turned down the moment he came out.
Should
to
have
me,
been a mic drop, leave,
walk off, let it
interview CM Punk
next week.
next week.
Let it simmer.
Yeah.
Let it simmer.
Not like, oh, is that true? I mean, you're already
Yeah, but
setting
you know what? You know why they can't let it simmer? Because next week they got to work Buddy Murphy into a match because he debuted. There's a surprise!
Surprise, Buddy Murphy's here.
We got Buddy Murphy! Wait a minute. Is he called Buddy Murphy? Is he something else? I don't even know. That's how exciting this is to me. And that doesn't mean Buddy Murphy's not good
looks
wrestler.
good, dude.
I know, but I'm telling you, he doesn't have an it factor as far as talking and stuff. It's just he doesn't have it.
Really?
Haven't seen it. When did he show it? What, that promo thing? I'm in jail. I'm mad. I'm breaking out. I'm getting out now. Right
I
now.
guess. You know what? I like
Me
Buddy
and Aleister
Murphy.
Black, Malachi Black. I know you like Buddy Murphy. Why do you like Buddy Murphy?
Did MJF go over? Did he go out of line? Was he out of line? Did he go over the edge? Like,
Well,
did he go on too much?
I mean, I find it funny that nowadays everybody's very sensitive about everything, but this didn't seem to be an issue.
It's funny you said that.
What
You
else
don't
is-
hear anybody complaining
What
about
else
that.
is new? This is the same as it ever was to me. So Vince wouldn't have ever had him
See, I'm
say
kinda-
that.
I'm
Vince
kinda-
never would have had him say this.
I'm kind of
That's
torn.
fair.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was very, very good. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I agreed with it.
Right. I could have done without it, quite honestly. I mean, only you kind of triggered me starting to think about what was it like when I was a teenager on Long Island in high school, and I thought about it. And again, I was not a victim of what he's talking
Would the
about.
promo-
Although someone did throw a brick through our house window one time.
Would the promo been?
At least it was only one time.
Would the promo been
Yeah.
as good
Yeah.
as if he didn't throw the anti-Semitic stuff in there?
Yeah, I think he could have found a way. Sure, he's MJF. How about that?
So do you think MJF takes the easy way out?
By doing that,
Yeah.
like a shortcut.
Yeah, like this is easy
You
pop.
do realize you just described the Attitude Era's Vince Russo approach.
Oh yeah, I think I got it.
Because that's basically, that was something that you might have seen in the Attitude Era. that kind of subject, something along those lines. I find it hilarious. Nobody's like, got a problem with it.
PJ says, was Buddy Murphy really supposed to be the game changer Tony was talking about?
Exactly.
Well, you're running out of guys, man. I mean, let's think about it. They're running out of guys.
They'll find another.
You're right.
15
Cesaro
to
will
20.
show up there,
right?
And he'll get a pop. And everybody like, oh, finally someone's treating Cesaro with respect.
Where
and
are
then
you
he'll be forgotten.
putting all these guys? Anybody seen Jack Swagger lately?
I think he wrestled like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, nice. They gave him his once a month TV appearance. There's too many guys. It's ridiculous. What else you got?
What I got is we're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with Go Hard or Go Home.
Hey, wait a minute. You forgot to mention that Batman does not have any compassion for the Joker.
Yo, you know what? That's a good
forgot
point.
to mention that.
It's
I
a
like
good
my
point.
Batman Joker talk.
No, you're right. So let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
So,
well.
the big thing with Phil getting into it.
It's CM Punk, but go ahead. I know you're talking about.
The big thing with
staying
Phil
calm.
was I didn't understand that whole feeling bad for MJF, because if they're going to do a setup where he doesn't want to really beat up MJF anymore because now he feels
Right.
bad that he let him down,
Right.
and then all of a sudden MJF
Right.
tricks him and pins him. Oh, that
Right.
never happened.
Right.
And he brings his whole football
Right.
team in.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
The joke.
I kind of like that.
But that's what's going to happen.
But you know what's fun?
But that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's happening. They're setting that up.
What you know? What that promo actually really did that's very confusing. Who's
Go
the bad guy here? Who's the bad guy? He's supposed to be the bad guy.
Patrick Rose says F
Isn't he?
Boston Wrestling.
MJF?
Thank you, Patrick.
What was that?
F Boston Wrestling, Patrick.
Oh, okay, that works.
By the way, I want to talk
Wait
about
a
Boston
minute.
Wrestling after the break.
What?
Yeah, I got a few things I want to. And Maria Davis says, I
what
want to
does
thank you,
Maria
Maria.
Davis say?
Maria says, where am I? Right here.
I can't keep up with this.
Scroll. Number one Thursday night wrestling broadcast.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So anyway, go back to what you're saying.
I don't know. Who's the bad guy here? After the you have the bad guy going out there and saying all these things that make you feel sorry for him. That was a very sympathetic promo. I found it hilarious that fans are booing. Some fans are just booing the whole way through. That's right, J-Boy, or whatever the hell they might have been.
J-Boy.
I'm trying to be respectful here, but I mean, you got fans booing him while he's explaining the racial abuse he got. The racial abuse that he put up with in high school.
Daniel Stokes says, I hate Hannibal.
I hate Hannibal. Doom, doom.
All right, we'll be right back after this
It's
commercial break.
See the sec. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Hi, it's John from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. So we got a big bunch of upcoming shows coming up. But let's talk. I want to ask you about Boston Wrestling, okay?
Why?
So, I don't know why I'm bringing it up because people say F Boston Wrestling. So
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, right? So the big fat whale, right? He's been doing this a pretty
Every
long
week
time, right?
I
He's been
die.
doing it, what, 20 years, whatever?
I don't know. Is that
Can you help me, maybe?
Is that how long he's been doing
All right,
it?
so
Okay.
you've been around this a bit.
Yeah.
And you've
yeah.
said in some cases
little
it
bit.
soured you a little bit,
Sure.
right?
Sour anybody.
So do you think maybe BFW is just so soured every time something goes wrong? It's right. He has a right to like say what he says. You know, he always seems to have a problem, right? It's always some sort of a problem, and it's like
okay.
I'm trying to think like. Why does he feel it necessary? Like his newest target's Jake the Snake.
What happened with him and Jake?
Well,
the
Jake
Snake?
was supposed to come to his 80s wrestling event or whatever else, and
so
Jake didn't show up. I think we discussed it.
He stranded him like a beached whale.
So he was on with Nord the Barbarian. I was watching it work the other day. I don't know what day it was.
Right.
I'm not watching, but listening to it.
All
And, then Nord's like talking about Jake and Jake not honoring, I guess Nord goes wherever the wind blows.
Apparently
you
so.
know what I mean?
That's what it sounds like, but who knows?
but-
Go ahead.
I'm not getting it.
Very interesting. Well, I think we were scheduled way back, I think, to have Jake, and something happened. I don't recall us going on the air and killing Jake the Snake Roberts.
Right.
Did we?
No.
Because shit happens in this business, You got to, being jaded is one thing. Being overly, reactive at this point to the shit that may not happen behind the scenes with wrestlers and stuff, I think we're pretty conditioned at this point. I don't think it's necessary for us to have to do what the Boston Whale apparently needs to do.
Well, here's
That's what he wants to do. That's fine.
It's amazing the loyalty that some people have,
Right.
to, or maybe it's just they're used to things, right?
Perhaps.
Again, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. It's so we were just talking about MJF and CM Punk, right? It's so clear where they're going with this, and obviously it's fake wrestling and they could change it, but it's pretty clear how they're going to play this angle. I don't understand how the people who support Boston wrestling do not call this guy on his bullshit. He's doing an Indiegogo because he cannot afford to bring Marty Jannetty in. So he's asking the wonderful fans out there to pay the freight on Marty Jannetty so he could have them in studio and he could do signings and sell autographs.
Right.
He could get YouTube views. He could get Patreon views. But he doesn't have the money for that. He's asking the fans to pay for it. But he has no problem bringing in Demolition, bringing in... Patrick Rose says, F Boston Wrestling. I really mean it.
Listen.
You do, sir.
Listen. Look, every wrestling fan has the right to decide what they find interesting to watch and what not to watch. For me, he is so cookie cutter. His manner of delivery is not organic in the least. There is nothing natural about him. He's not funny. He's not talented. He is a big, fat suck sponge. And when he doesn't get his way, if you've worked with him for years, he will throw you publicly under the bus. This guy, to me, is a steaming pile of microwavable shit. Are you happy? That's what I got to say about him.
A few things. Jay Will
right.
says Bob Orton Jr. would be nice to have on the show. We did have Bob Orton Jr.
Yes,
You
we
could
did.
Look it through the
He was wonderful.
archive.
Phil would
go
enjoy
through the
him.
shows.
He was very Switzerland.
Yeah, he was Switzerland.
I'm sorry, Phil. Love you. And you know I do.
Steph C says, don't forget, he's doing it for a while, wearing huge crosses to let everyone know he's a good religious man who would never do anything to screw anyone.
Oh, please.
Mitch Product says he did a fundraiser
agree.
for Kamala years ago, and Kamala never got a dime.
Well, look, again, I can't prove it. If this is the story, well, that really sucked for Kamala now, didn't it?
And Maria says that's why I said he makes asses out of pro wrestlers.
Yeah,
I try not
look,
to. Seems
we enjoy
loose.
and poke fun at stuff, but we also poke fun at ourselves. We have a sense of humor, and we don't take this stuff like life or death. Okay, this guy is just a cardboard cookie cutout. He's so plastic, and then even when he's mad, I laugh. I'm like, "Puh, is this? Oh, he's mad. Where's the Scott Hall fingers? It's like, I don't know. There's nothing going on there for me. I don't see original, brilliant programming. I don't see any kind of creativity. I think his intro sucks.
PJ's asking when Doink was supposed to be on again. Doink was supposed to be on, but we had a snowstorm in New York.
Yeah.
So, but he will come on within the
Yeah,
next
we
couple
bought it.
of
We have
months.
a snowstorm.
Lou says
Oh, my
seems
God.
like Dan's got more bland and maybe more cunning in the years. Maria said that's why he makes asses out of pro wrestlers who have fallen on hard times.
Yep.
Stinger says, ouch.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, and you know what, dude? Nothing personal, Dan. But you know what? I remember what started all this for me. What started all of this for me was that he's calling us motherfuckers and shit like that. And I'm like, yo, bro, you want to go with us? Like, good luck. Good luck to you. And it didn't turn out well for him. I don't give a fuck what anybody wants to distort. It turned out really bad for him.
I wasn't even going to bring him.
Shut your fucking pie hole.
I wasn't going to even bring him up, right?
Well,
but I got to tell you.
got me going all over again.
Speaking to Marty today
Sick of
kind of
these
stirred up
jackasses.
some stuff in me, right?
Right.
Because, I thought to myself, like, why don't we do an Indiegogo to help maybe Marty with some medical expenses?
Sure.
Why? If we really care,
if that's what Marty wants,
right? Yeah.
Because you ask Marty, obviously, which
Right.
we would, and if Marty would want to do something like that, sure, absolutely.
Mitch, how are you, brother? Mitch Products, Mitch Seinfeld. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming.
And
Thanks
I
for coming
appreciate
as
you
always.
calling me a Christian earlier, but I will never run around and stand on a mountaintop and pretend I'm this, that, and the other thing. So I really agree with what that person wrote in earlier with the, the flaunting, doing the talking but not the walking.
All right, guys. So
it's really hard to do the walking. It's really hard. So
we got this as the go home because next week is tons of interviews. So we want to go through each one to get you guys ready and get you prepared, and hopefully you all could join us. So on March 3rd, we've got Ron Shaw, Big Ron Shaw.
Big Ron Shaw
will be joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling
pretty damn
broadcast.
psyched about
so
that.
can I share something about Ron Shaw with you?
Uh-oh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, what was it? With the Buff Bagwell show. So everybody understands what happens. We had someone that was coming in to
Hannibal's,
speak about Hannibal.
Past Hannibal associate.
And,
friend.
the gentleman's wife went into labor, and, he couldn't make it.
Yeah, there you
Understandable.
go. Yeah, pretty
So,
understandable, yeah. I would think so.
Maria says, if Marty needs help, I'm in.
There you go.
Let's see Marty,
There you go.
Maria, because Marty said, I asked him if he needed anything and say anything, but I promised when I talked to him again, I think it would be great if we all put something together for Marty, if he would like that. So
Yeah, sure.
if that's something we could do for him, that would be fantastic. So I called Buff. I say, hey, Buff, got a lot of people going to be watching. Patrick Rose says, Sean is gay, Marty okay. That's a good rhyme. Can you make a song? Sean is gay, Marty okay?
Sean is gay.
Marty
is a
So anyway, I called Buff, and I said, hey, can you bail us out? Come on in. He's like, yeah, no problem. Did a great interview.
Yeah, love Buff.
But before that, you've been a fan. If anyone knows who Ron Shaw is, he
Yes.
was a enhancement talent, jobber, whatever you want to call him.
Okay.
For the old WWF.
Correct.
Very big guy.
Late
and
70s,
Jimmy,
early
Jimmy,
80s
who is,
time period.
was a fan.
Hey, we grew up watching Ron Shaw.
Yeah, nope.
I mean, a fan, not of I was of Greg Valentine, but hey, I appreciate Ron Shaw. I thought he was very,
fine.
very good at what he did.
So Jimmy,
Big dude.
so Jimmy was like, "Hey man, we should get Ron Shaw." And I'm like,
Of
I
course.
said to Jimmy, I'm like, I don't know, man, because Ron Shaw, I heard him on an interview
Shaw
somewhere
rules.
else, and then he was with
I
the kid.
have
And
enjoyed
he was with
hearing
the
him.
kid from England.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
And we already had David San Martino in, which was a great interview, probably the only interview you could really catch with
Still
David
burns
San
in my
Martino.
claw, but okay, go ahead.
Not the reason I'm bringing it up.
No,
but,
I know. I would love to have
and
been
not
there for
that
one.
I didn't
Right.
want to interview Ron Shaw, but I was like,
Right.
you know what? Really, what are we? Again, what are we going to talk about unless we do the Monte The Pharaoh thing and not talk about wrestling, right? And talk about other stuff.
We talk about everything.
but I
yeah.
said, you know what?
Yeah.
F it.
And some wrestling.
We do a
yeah.
good job with the interviews. Let
Right.
me call this guy. So I call Ron Shaw. No answer. Buff comes on,
Okay.
and then Ron Shaw calls me the following day.
Okay.
He's like, oh, yeah, you left me a message. I'm like, yeah, Ron, we were hoping to have you on the show.
All
yada,
right.
yada, yada.
Right.
And he's like, well, I just did a really long interview with the
He doesn't
kids.
do many.
He says the kid's name.
Right.
And
yeah.
I'm like,
The kid across the pond.
I'm like, yeah, well, we don't do those type of interviews, Ron.
Right. He's strictly wrestling usually. Well, he could.
Right. So
Usually. Yeah.
So he goes,
got
well,
you.
what are you thinking? And I kind of told him what I was thinking. And then he says, all right, I'll call you back.
All right.
So I don't hear from him.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, move on.
How many
Right.
days? Okay.
We're talking like a week.
All right,
I
a
don't hear
week.
from him. So I'm like, all right, I'm
right.
chasing the guy down. You know me. I ain't chasing
No, you're not-
anybody
no,
down,
of
right?
course not. Nope.
And I'm not going to trash anybody. Whatever.
Fair.
So all of a sudden the phone rings and I get a call. And it's Ron Shaw.
Okay.
And he's like, oh,
It's
man.
Big Ron Shaw.
Big Ron Shaw.
Big
He's
Ron
like,
Shaw.
hey, man, I didn't realize it was you from Monte The Pharaoh.
Wait a minute. What?
Oh, I'd love to be on the show. And so I said, and this is a true
Didn't
story.
realize.
This is a true story.
I'm confused.
So I said, oh, so now you know who we are. Now you want to come on the show.
Oh.
I said, that's interesting. If we were a startup show, you couldn't be kind enough just to come on then.
All right.
But now it's Monte the Pharaoh. Oh, yeah, now you want to come on.
Maybe he's shy.
So I said, hey, Ron, I got to
reaching
be
here.
honest with you. I told you we don't do a real, like, you know,
Yeah.
what did you do in 1979?
Tell us about
Armbar, blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah,
Tell us about
blah.
that drop kick you
And we
threw
also
in
don't
that-
do a lot of the
yeah,
dirt
yeah.
talk, like, blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I said, Ron,
Right.
we're probably going to ask you some tough questions, and, you know,
Right.
there'll be some really tough
Might
questions.
get a little hot in the kitchen.
Yeah, and
All
you know,
right.
if anyone didn't know, Ron was pretty good friends with Bruno Sammartino, which
Okay.
Bruno is
Okay.
a legend.
Right.
Don't get me
It's that
wrong.
the right time
He's a
period.
hero to many.
Sure.
But
Sure,
we've
sure,
clearly stated, both of us have stated that we felt towards the later years
got
of Bruno.
very bitter.
He got very bitter, and I felt that he
somewhat
went on the attack
understandable.
on people that I didn't feel or we didn't
True.
feel they had a right to.
True. He was having
So-
target practice on
and-
those who
and-
buttered his bread.
And
Yeah,
Ron
that's
was around for a lot of other stuff, and I said, Ron, we're probably going to hit you with a lot of questions. I don't know if you're going to feel comfortable.
true. Right.
And he was like, well,
What?
you know, well, let me think about it. I said, no, Ron, you're not going to think about it. It's either you do it
Either
or you
wanna
don't do
or
it.
You don't want to
So
do it.
he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
It's great we're having Ron
Shaw.
on.
I love Ron Shaw.
but, you know, I personally just have
boy.
a little bit of an issue with the whole not returning the phone call thing. I don't like. Look, he did eventually return
I
it.
just want to know what he's not. Is he physically coming here?
He's not physically
Oh,
coming
thank
here,
God
so this will
for
be
that.
over
Oh,
VMix
my
or
God, I
over
think
the
I-
internet.
Jesus,
But maybe eventually he'll be in studio.
Oh, I'm
Look,
very excited.
I'm a fan. Of
I'm
Ron
excited
Shaw.
for the record.
and I'm always respectful. But what I'm trying to
he's
tell
got
you
some great
is,
stories. I like Ron
I know
Shaw.
you're excited.
I am excited. I like Ron Shaw.
Honestly, I should have made the mandatory he wear the mask as the executioner during this
Well,
interview.
it'd be cool if maybe he'll have it to the side. We could ask him to throw.
No,
it
I
in.
want to do the whole interview with him
No,
with the mask
we
on.
gotta see Big Ron Shaw a little bit. Have him throw the mask on for a couple of questions.
the whole
We'll
thing.
ask the executioner.
And he can eat a sandwich while having the mask
Eating
on.
a
Can I get
sandwich? What is he,
Can I have some
Morocco?
fun with this interview?
This is Morocco.
No,
now?
I
Eating a
like
sandwich?
mass wrestlers who eat sandwiches.
Oh my God, that's a bad flashback from a really lousy hole in the. Oh,
Dude, there's
my
nothing
God.
better than someone eating a sandwich in their wrestling mask.
Yeah, that was someday, wasn't that?
All right, and then we have March. So it starts off March 3rd. Ron Shaw gets this thing kicking.
Yeah.
Then there's a break on Friday. Right,
Wow,
you
we
get This
get a-
Week in
we get a
Wrestling.
break.
And then on March 5th, starting at 3 o'clock, becomes a marathon. The first show, I think, is at 4. We have WWE superstar Outback Jack in studio.
Hey ho.
Thoughts on Outback?
Wait a minute, co-host of In the Dungeon.
No, dude, that's
That's the next line on this.
one.
Oh, sorry.
Outback Jack, Pharaoh, focus.
I'm already on the next one.
No. Thoughts on Outback Jack?
Cool, man, but he took a lot of shit in the locker room. Boy, oh boy, are you going to have some questions for him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Apparently, there were some real jerks towards our guest that day. Not good.
One thing I will say about Outback Jack, I didn't know
What's
he's
that?
blind.
What?
Yep.
I did not know that.
And I think
right.
he is an amputee also, which I
man.
didn't know, which is kind of crazy, right?
Right.
Right after that,
Oh, boy.
we've got co-host of In the Dungeon on the M&P channel,
There we go.
Kevin Sullivan in
There
studio.
There we go.
Thoughts on having Kevin? And this might be, how many times have we had Kevin in studio?
I don't know at this point.
Well, we had him the one interview,
Right.
and then you had him here with Andrew Anderson, the Metal Maniac interview.
Right. The who?
Metal Maniac?
The who?
Yeah. So
The who?
this will be third time with Sullivan?
Yeah, probably. But Kevin Sullivan's forever the steakhouse, bro. That's how I remember Kevin Sullivan, the steakhouse, when we had those awesome steaks. And
Nice.
That's the memory I really got of Kevin Sullivan.
And then after that, we've got Man Mountain Rock in studio.
Nice. Wow. That's
Any
a great
memories on Man Mountain
That's
Rock?
a great picture there.
That is a good picture.
Wow. Me like.
thoughts
Why does
on
he
Man Mountain?
look like a freaking Bray Wyatt way before Bray Wyatt?
Dude, that dude was a big guy, man.
I mean, look at that, though. Seriously, that picture.
And I heard
looks
that
like
guy
Bray
had
Wyatt.
a lot of heat in the back of the locker
Did
room.
he really? All right.
And then I know you're looking forward to this, brother. Dirty Dutch Mantel right after that. So these are back-to-back interviews.
This is great. This is Dutch Mantel. I'm blown away by. The guy's a great.
See, I'm so
talker.
surprised that you're such a big Dutch Mantel guy, considering you never watched him really wrestle, right?
I mean, look. Over the years, you got the tape libraries, you got YouTube. The internet allows you to watch a lot of shit. I'm actually more excited about his experiences in the business. I like listening to him talk.
Yeah.
He's a very knowledgeable man.
Very smart guy.
Very knowledgeable. And personally, I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I loved his work even as Zeb Coulter. This guy is very good at whatever he's asked to do.
And if that wasn't enough, dude, then we had Buddy Lee Parker.
Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to hear the stories about the WCW training camps. Oh boy. You know?
That guy,
By the way,
guy has so much
does he look
influence.
like a Bob Backlund or what there? in that
Patrick
photo?
Rose says
Look at
F.
that-
John
look
Cena
at that.
and F. Boston Wrestling.
F. John Cena. No. Wait. No, not John Cena Senior. Maybe John Cena, but not Senior. You know.
And then we have.
Put a little spice.
Then
on
we
that.
have. Can you put up that Conquistador?
hot dog.
The Conquistador banner.
The what?
Thank you. What date is that? March 24th, the Conquistadors. So we have some bad news.
What?
On the 24th, the Conquistadors are going to be canceled due to, unfortunately, Jose Estrada, one half of the Conquistadors, took a stroke. So he's in the hospital with a
good,
stroke.
man.
So,
I mean,
obviously, life happens.
yeah,
And I
obviously
just
prayers
found out
for-
that news
yeah.
today. So please, prayers to Jose Estrada.
And you know what? I am a mark because I am really upset that we're not going to get Jose Estrada.
Well, maybe he recovers, hopefully, and
Jose
then he'll be
Estrada
back in
was
studio.
Such a major part of when we were kids, as far as the working on the card. What a good wrestler! Damn it.
All right,
hope
and
he
then
gets better.
and then
Oh, boy.
we'll probably add maybe a couple more in between that, but then it gets big again. And so on May 6th, we've got Coco Beware and Tommy Rich in studio. So we'll be doing some Tommy Rich and Coco Beware along with Wisteria Hall, doing a little singing.
Oh my God!
You know,
Tommy's going to get involved.
We're gonna get
in this
Tommy
ham.
involved in some
Tommy's
singing.
He's
Yeah,
such a ham. He's gonna
Maria,
love it.
oh no, yes, the Conquistadors. I know that's
Yeah,
disappointing.
That's very
but,
much
you know,
disappointing. But listen, though, you got to do me one favor, though. Don't you have Coco like smacking my head off the table again?
no.
You know, I mean, that whole Hall of Fame thing got me in trouble last time. So let's stay away from that, please. I have one skull to give for my show.
Everybody's talking out there about Dirty Dutch Mantel.
Yeah.
Phil says Godspeed, Jose Estrada, great
Absolutely,
talent.
man.
All
Great
right,
talent.
and then probably the really big news, and really big news for everybody and myself. Drum roll, please. May 6th, we've got Jesse the Body Ventura in studio, dude.
Oh my God!
I.
This is it for you.
It
I
is.
mean, like we thought Backlund, we were like Backlund, but for those who don't know, you and Jesse Ventura, your whole growing up, practically the only thing missing was the boa feathers when you came to school.
Yeah,
all right.
you're right.
You adore Jesse the Body Ventura. You know what? We better not let you down, because that could be a very long day. Oh my God! Wow, you're speechless.
I'm speechless.
Come on, say something. Let the
Not
fans
only did
know.
not only did I respect him as a wrestler.
Yeah, sure.
I am pretty much, my political views
He became governor.
My political views with him couldn't be farther apart.
Right.
But I respect him so immensely.
He's got quite the mind, Jesse Ventura.
Stinger says, "Wow, that one is big."
That
dude,
it's huge.
Stinger, I mean, when this came across, I was like, this guy's one of the most intelligent people, in my opinion.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He's an icon. And
tell
let's
you.
not forget his acting.
He's
in some of the greatest movies.
Predator,
Running Man.
Running Man. Okay, but Predator will always be to me. It's like that's just Jesse's in Predator, man. It's like that's one of the coolest movies ever fucking made. Get to the chopper. That's one of the greatest movies ever made. Predator. Jesse's the man. There's just, why couldn't Adonis still be alive if it had a double dip?
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
Could you imagine? Oh my Lord. It's just.
Patrick Rose says, I pay for one-way ticket to China for Cena Jr.
Why? Put a little, that's the wrong.
Little hot sauce. Anyway, J.A. says, I can't wait for
What's
Dwayne
Cena
Bruce to be
Senior?
on the show. He and JYD were tight in the gym around 1994.
Who?
JYD,
I didn't catch the name.
Buddy Lee Parker.
Oh,
Dwayne
yes,
Bruce.
yes.
Bruce was always pleasant to talk to. I guess it was because he was local. Davio says, Jesse Ventura, only man to take a top billing over Arnold Schwarzenegger. PJ writes, I cannot wait for Jesse. I mean, this is going to be off the hook. So anyway, we got, guys, starting next week, Ron Shaw, going Going to be a great interview.
I can't wait.
Guy's a great guy.
Yep.
Except he doesn't return phone calls.
Till he figures out who you are.
And then figures out who I am.
Then he calls.
And then he calls.
Was that a cat? What the hell did I just hear?
And
Did
then
you hear that? What
May
was
5th,
that?
guys, please get home from work early. Get in front of your computer. Put
Yeah.
it on your TV.
What's
Make
a
yourself
TV?
a nice dinner.
I don't have a TV.
Pour yourself some bottles or glasses of wine.
Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Okay?
Yeah.
And sit back for 5 incredible interviews. None will be the same.
You know why none of them will be the same? Because in the first show, Mike Monty will start drinking.
Right.
In the second show, Mike Monty will be drinking.
Yes.
In the third show, Mike Monty will possibly be heading towards I've had too much
Right.
drinking.
Yes.
By the fourth show, Pharaoh's back will be hurting from carrying Mike Monty because he was drinking.
What about the
and
fifth
the
show?
fifth show, Pharaoh's going to be so fucked up at that point that the fans are still going to think it was, well, kind of like AEW. That was great no matter what.
Could it be?
We rock.
Before we go, could it be
Oh,
like
what
this?
a
Buddy
mess.
Lee. By the time Buddy Lee sits on the couch,
Yeah.
we're just like, what?
So tell us about that arm bar.
I know. You know what? Better yet,
nothing left.
I'll put the speaker on and be like, Maria, take over the interview.
Maria will take over.
Maria,
for
you take
Pittsburgh.
over. We'll put you on the TV. You ask
That'd be
Buddy Lee
great.
everything. We'll just sit back.
And we can hook up to Phil. Phil could be like the neutral partner with Maria. Be great. He'll just ride the fence. Poor Phil.
All right, before we go,
Phil rocks.
why don't you answer one question?
Yeah, what do you got? What do you
Ron Shaw.
got? Yeah.
Will he finally openly admit that the shocker over David Sammartino was a work between him and David? Because David on the show said to us it was a work, and he told Ron this was going to happen.
Okay.
Ron claims that's not true. Will he tell the truth?
It all depends on whether or not he's finally willing to tell the truth. So help him God. That's what it really depends on, because I think he does enjoy the fact that this is a constant, never-ending subject.
All right. Anyway, we got to go because I just found out something.
What?
Daniel Stroke says he thinks Hannibal's outside our door. Get us out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. You've been watching Monty and the Pharaoh, and exit stage right. Later.